Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name is Sally Watts. It's my pleasure to be with you today. We're joined by Rhema and Catherine and Tuvia and Ray and Brooke and Jay as we open our service by singing Spirit of Life by Jeff Lovejoy. Join in. I'm not sure how much more there is to match, but don't let that stop you. If you still want to contribute to this remodel campaign, we will gladly appreciate your contributions. You can send us a check to FOOF, P.O. Box 2502, Florence 97439, or click on our website. Pretty easy to do. I've had people send payment in both ways, either by check or by PayPal using their credit card. And so we thank our mysterious donor who's matching these funds. Thank you. So we have a Zoom gathering today at 5 o'clock. Our host will be Deborah Jordan, and we expect Rev Donna Smith to be with us. She is our featured speaker today, our guest minister at our pulpit. So February theme is Beloved Community, and she will be concluding that theme with her title, We Have One, no, what is that? February's Beloved Community. Oh, Healing Power of Community is her title. Next month's theme is commitment. So take what you've been getting these last couple of months, let's move into that commitment phase. And next month, we start that off with our favorite Dean Schrock with his message titled, We Have One Common Quality. You may have noticed in our midweek e-blast that Don Gardner, who along with his spouse, Don Madison, years ago, started doing the free lunch program with the United Methodist Church. Don Madison has since passed on, and Don Gardner is continuing with that. I think Don Madison pretty much told him he needed to. So he's doing a good thing. But he needs help on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's only a couple of folks who are volunteering, and he really could use our support. So I wrote him and told him what days I could be there to help, and I think he's asking our FOOF community, can you help on a Tuesday or Thursday? If so, call Don and let him know that you can help. Tuesdays, Thursdays, somewhere between 10:45 and 12:15. It's just an hour and a half of your time, okay? It's a great way, as I think about it, to hand out vouchers to those who are hungry, to Subway, and to give a big smile and a virtual hug to those who may be lonely as well. So let Don know if you can help, okay? And if you're in the neighborhood of FOOF on Fridays at 11 o'clock, stop by. I mean, look at the strangers that walked in this morning. We got Brooke and Tuvia, Rhema and Catherine. It's a wonderful place to be a part of this little recording community, if you will. This is our beloved recording community, and you are most welcome to be a part of it. It's not closed doors, although we do have to close the doors so when we're recording we don't get interrupted. So be here about 10:45-ish and be a part. You can sing with us, or you can just sit in the back of the room and just admire the process. There's plenty of room, plenty of chairs, and you are most welcome to be with us. And finally, for today's service, you can follow along for today's service with the order of service that's printed in your e-blast this morning on Sunday. What else? What did I forget? Anything else from anybody else? Remodel is coming along fine. We are interviewing contractors. This is a good thing. And the space is pretty empty. And we're managing just fine. So anyway, that's what's new. So if there's nothing else, let's proceed with the lighting of our chalice. I invite Raymond to come up as we light the flame in our chalice while you light a candle at home. I know some people have those battery-operated candles, so flick the little switch or get your match out and light a candle for yourself. These words are from Atticus Palmer, and it's titled Community. We call this light before us in hope that we may always remain a strong community, working together to make the world a better place. When we are grieving or sad, when we are challenged, when we need help, this flame guides us out of the darkness. When we are cheerful, when we celebrate, when we accomplish a great task, when we return to a place that makes us happy, the chalice reminds us to share our happiness with others. I invite Brooke to come forward to share our opening words from Starhawk.
Somewhere, there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere, a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter, and voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing, a circle of friends. Someplace where we can be free. Blessed be.
Thank you, Brooke. Catherine, I think we've got some joys and concerns to share. Can I drop the shells for you?
Yes, please do.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How we get our information for joys and concerns, I want to talk about this for a second. How we get our information for joys and concerns is from each other, or you contacting me, or someone you know that talks to me. You know, it's kind of a process. So we do have a list that we've gotten down to about 120 people. And from time to time, we have made phone calls. There's a group of us that will come together and make phone calls. And then, you know, life gets in the way and the phone calls don't always happen. And something has come to my attention that we don't always have the right phone number or the address. And so I would like to invite all of you as our beloved community that if you don't think we have your phone number or your correct address, to please go to the FOOF website and make sure that we have it. We don't want anyone to be left out of our communications. So it will be myself, Karen Cooper, and Zena Robertson, and we will be making the phone calls again. Now, I understand that not everyone likes to get a call. You are not obligated to pick up the phone. And we're just trying to reach out again. And in that reaching out, besides checking in with you, you know, wellness check, how are you doing, everything like that, we're here to listen. We're also here to gather information. In fact, if you know someone else in the community that really does need a wellness check or needs an errand run, something like that, I am available for those things. So how about just putting a shell in for our beloved community?
Yes.
Now, I know that there's a joy out there because vaccinations are happening.
Yes.
Whether you believe in them or not, those of us that want them are happy that they're finally rolling out. There are a few little glitches, but I myself have been keeping at it until I get it.
I got 2.
Okay.
I got 2.
She got 2 already. All right, let's put that in there.
One for Jennifer, one for me.
Oh, great.
You, 2?
Oh, great.
Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let's see, there is a concern right here. Brooke, you have one?
Yes, if you would, oh, I can put in a shell. So this shell is for Nancy Noggle. Her husband Ned passed away a week ago, and it was very peaceful, and Nancy did an incredible job of caring for him for over a year. And I just want to honor her and let her know that we're really thinking about her, and we will help her through this transition process. If you feel like calling her or anything like that, please feel free to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. I have a little quote here. It's from the actress Viola Davis.
Ooh, I love her.
We have to stop thinking about diversity and start thinking about inclusion. Being inclusive means accepting life and everyone just as they are. Acceptance is a spiritual practice that sets us free from anger, resentment, and especially judgment. What does it mean for you to be inclusive? Now I want to give an example.
Okay.
And it was you, when we were hiking the other day. The conversation was about a political figure in town. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions about him. And I loved the way you said, well, you know what? I'm seeing he's just really rough around the edges. And you refuse to be pulled into the them versus us thing. And I really thought about that for a long time, so thank you. That's inclusion.
Yeah.
You know, that's, not necessarily agreeing, but seeing his humanity instead of his particular viewpoints at the time.
Yeah, thank you.
So please give a shell for yourself.
Okay. Is that as good for you as it was for me? I'm sorry.
So just an affirmation for today. I declare that I am one with God and I am one with all life. And so it is. Thank you.
So it is.
Heal Us Now was composed by Cantor Leon Scher, who is the music director at Congregation Bethel in New Jersey and is the founder of the local chapter of Hazamir, the International Jewish Teen Choir. Heal Us Now is being sung in many communities throughout the world by all faiths as an inspiration during this difficult time of worldwide pandemic. I want to thank my dear friend Dahlia Grossman of Congregation Mayim Shalom for encouraging me to learn and share this beautiful song with you. Rifa'enu Adonai v'nei rafei Hoshi'enu v'nei v'ashah El karav v'kol karav Al karav v're'ah Yishod. We pray for the healing of the body. We pray for the healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole. El see It is my pleasure to introduce our guest minister, Rev Donna Smith, and her message about healing power of community.
Good morning, my foo friends from Florence. It's really good to be with you again. I wish I could see your beautiful faces, but I can feel your beautiful spirits for sure. I want to talk to you this morning about the healing power of community. And I want to begin by sharing a true story with you. A researcher in a small African village wanted to engage the children and become friends with them. So he put some candy in a basket and placed it by a tree. He told the children to stand in a line, and when he said go, they were to race down the field to the tree where the basket was, and the first one there would win all of the candy. So they raced down toward the tree, and one of the boys made it to the basket first. He sat down by the tree, waited for the others to get there, and then shared the candy with all the other children. The researcher was puzzled and asked the boy why he didn't keep it all for himself. After all, he had won the race. The little boy said that if he kept it all for himself, the others would be sad. How could he eat any of it if the others were sad? Now, the wisdom of this little boy kind of says it all, doesn't it? How could he eat any of it if the others were sad? So if this says it all, I guess my sermon is over. Not really, I'm just kidding you. You know me by now, I have a lot to say, don't I? Well, this story is an example of very high consciousness, cooperation instead of competition. This is an example of exactly what it's going to take to bring back caring and peace into our world. And it is simple. Care for each other. And caring for each other is the foundation of community. As Millard Fuller said, for a community to be whole and healthy, it must be based on people's love and concern for each other. We know that a strong, healthy community increases our resilience to adapt and prosper in times of extremes. However, community is important at all times. There has been a lot of research about the importance of community to our health, to our longevity, our joy, our peace, our strength, and our sense of belonging. Before I share this research with you, I want to share the scientific research about mirror neurons. And it's very simple. We all have mirror neurons within us. The research reveals that our bodies cannot tell the difference between something happening to us or that same thing happening to another. If we are seeing it right in front of us, hearing about it, or seeing it on TV, we still feel the same emotions. So if someone slaps you and you feel the hurt of being slapped, if someone else is slapped right in front of you, you will feel the same emotions. Now, why do we feel those same emotions? Because we are all connected. We are all connected to all species, all of life. And that main connection is through the heart. Now, I know all of you have had some experience with this. You know that something has happened to a family member before you've ever heard of it. You feel it in your heart, don't you? And when you see other pets or people, any form of life actually, experiencing pain, even if they're strangers, it's easy to feel their pain. And that's because of this strong heart connection that we have. Lynn McTaggart shared in one of her online webinars that studies of heart attack victims have found that at least a half don't have high cholesterol or any of those risk factors. They're simply lonely. And loneliness is the one thing that human beings cannot bear. Now, psychologists have studied suicides for many years, and they find that most people commit suicide because of something they call excessive individuation. In other words, they feel left out, and being left out is the one thing that human beings cannot bear. This is why the practices of shunning and bullying can lead to depression and even suicide. Lynn McTaggart wrote in her book, The Bond, that research has shown that there is an innate pull to wholeness, which means that we are born to belong, we are born to agree, believe it or not, we are born to give, and we are born to take turns. Now, I encourage you to read this book. It is so very interesting. Now, science has shown in its experiments that rather than a will to power, the essential impulse of all of life is a will to connect. Deep connection rather than competition is the quality most essential to human nature. We were never meant to have a life of isolation or self-serving survival. Human beings need partnership just to survive. And we experience the greatest stress and the most serious illnesses when we are isolated from others and from a sense of connection. Now, today in our world, there are a lot of people who are isolating themselves in order to feel safer. The political polarization is dividing people even more. Even some family members are against each other. So when you look out there right now, you really don't see a lot of things that are promoting community and a sense of connection. And that is why we need to keep our sense of connection foremost in our minds for our health. We need each other. It is important that we make those phone calls, we write those letters, send those cards and emails, do shopping for others, serve in whatever way you can to help those who are self-isolating to stay healthy, to know that they are loved, they are missed, and not forgotten. This is so very important. I'm going to show you a picture right here. I think you could probably see that. This is a picture of two newly born infants that I use in my Taizé training. And it was in Life magazine, June 1996. And it shows one of the baby girls with her arms over her twin sister. The article, called The Rescuing Hug, reads that the twins were born 12 weeks prematurely. They were whisked into their separate incubators. Brielle Jackson was not expected to live. She had breathing and heart rate problems and was not gaining weight. A hospital nurse went against the hospital rules and placed the babies in one incubator. When they were placed together, the healthier of the two, Kiri, threw an arm over her sister Brielle in an enduring embrace. The smaller baby's heart rate stabilized and her temperature rose to normal. She survived because of her sister's loving embrace. In fact, the hospital changed the rules about separating the children at birth. Research shows that connection protects us against stroke, depression, and even the common cold. One study concluded that relationships of any sort, good or bad, improve our odds of survival by 50%. This social bond protects us even in hard times. One sampling of Americans in the lowest income bracket showed virtually no stress about their financial circumstances so long as they had two means of support: a strong spiritual connection, and even more important, a strong spiritual community. During my childhood, our family was considered poor economically. I only found that out later as an adult, because during my childhood, I never felt deprived, depressed, or poor, or even unhappy. And I know that was because my family had a very strong, loving bond for each other. There were 4 girls in our family, and we all felt loved by our parents, always. And we all worked together to make things work for our family needs. I do think my father would have wanted another bathroom, though, because with 5 women in the household, he hardly ever made it into the bathroom, and I remember him pounding on the door many times. So it's not so much about the material things. Some of the studies in McTaggart's book showed that some of the richest areas of America had the greatest risk of suicide. And a study by Lynn Simey concluded that the quality of the connection to one's immediate geographical cluster is one of the most potent predictors of health and illness. Even in the face of devastating adversity, a cohesive group bond can be protective against virtually any risk factor: migration, dislocation, poverty, poor diet, and even alcoholism. Now, the blue zone factors of living long and healthy lives includes belonging, which is number 7 on their list. The blue zones communities have strong ties with their families and social groups, and they all participate in a spiritual community. So I hope you see that community is one of the best medicines that we can have. Now, I have another story for you, and I think most of you have probably heard this one. The story of stone soup. Once upon a time, there was a great famine. The people in one small village didn't have enough to eat, and definitely not enough to store away for the winter. People were afraid their families would go hungry, so they hid the small amounts of food they did have. They even hid their food from their friends and neighbors. One day, a wandering soldier came into the village, and he asked the different people he met about finding a place to eat and sleep for the night. "There's not a bite to eat in the whole county," they told him. "You better keep moving on." "Oh, I have everything I need," he said. "In fact, I would like to make some stone soup to share with all of you." He pulled a big black cooking pot from his wagon. He filled it with water and built a fire under it. Then he reached slowly into his knapsack, and while several villagers watched, he pulled a plain gray stone from a cloth bag and dropped it into the water. By now, hearing about the magic stone, most of the villagers were surrounding the soldier and his cooking pot. As the soldier sniffed the stone soup and licked his lips, the villagers began to overcome their lack of trust of him. "Ah," the soldier said aloud to himself, "I do like a tasty stone soup. Of course, stone soup with cabbage is even better." Soon a villager ran from his house into the village square holding a cabbage. "I have this cabbage from my garden," he said, as he held it out for the soldier. "Fantastic!" cried the soldier. The soldier cut up the cabbage and added it to the pot. "You know, I once had stone soup with cabbage and a bit of beef, and it was delicious." The butcher said he thought he could find some beef scraps. As he ran back to his shop, other villagers offered bits of vegetables from their own gardens: potatoes, onions, carrots, and celery. Soon the big black pot was bubbling and steaming. When the soup was ready, everyone in the village ate a bowl of soup, and it was delicious. Now the villagers offered the soldier money and other treasures for the magic stone, but he refused to sell it. He had many offers for a cot to sleep on that night. The next day, he traveled on his way. So what is the moral of the story? By working together, with everyone contributing what they can, a greater good is achieved. Everyone had a much healthier dinner because they all contributed the little food that they had. And this is called synergy. When you combine your efforts, they produce a total effect that is greater than the sum of the individual elements and contributions. So by combining their food, they enjoyed a much richer and much healthier meal together. Now there is a deeper meaning to synergy. We must adopt an additional ethic toward others, one which enhances our attitude of giving as we communicate with them. We must actively uplift others by visualizing an expression of a higher connected consciousness in their eyes and on their face. Continue to visualize them moving above their ego into their authentic, loving self. And as you visualize the person in front of you as their true divine, loving self, and they do the same for you, the combined interchange of energy rises beyond the individual sum of the two people and lifts you both much higher in consciousness. And that's exactly what the soldier did in our story. He saw all the villagers not as misers hiding their little bits of food, but people who would be willing to share, and share they did. Now, was the stone magic? Well, to me, the stone represents truth, potential, healing, love, and joy. Notice he did not leave the stone, but he left with the villagers all the magic the stone represents, and it changed the village. Not only that, he continued on to help other villages. Now, this is one important way that you can help community grow and prosper. Be the catalyst supporting cooperation and higher consciousness. So practice this with your family, and then with your friends, then in social settings, in religious settings, and spiritual settings. And then take this practice out into other communities, reaching as many as you can. You will become a community builder and increase the sense of belonging that we so need to feel again in our lives and in our world. You know, maybe we have to wear masks for a while, but the heart cannot be masked. The actions and the thoughts of a loving person cannot be masked. And the good that goes beyond the good given and received cannot be masked. And maybe we have to keep distance between most of the people in our lives, but the distance does not prevent the love freely given from the heart that is not limited by space, nor the service that we can give to those who need it, nor the comforting words that can be communicated no matter the distance. Now, it may look hopeless right now in our world, but we are only seeing the sensationalism of media right now. We're not seeing the many, many people who are the soldiers, who are keeping their communities together and promoting their services to help other communities and even in other parts of the world. And never underestimate the power of your intentions. Now remember, I shared with you the last time that we met that it only takes the square root of 1% of a population to make a measured difference. So you can see the power of a community working together with a unified intention and effort. I want to close with a quote from A Course in Miracles. I think this is one of our most important teachings in the world. And this quote reads, "When you meet anyone, remember it is a holy encounter. As you see him, you will see yourself. As you treat him, you will treat yourself. As you think of him, you will think of yourself. Never forget this, for in him you will find yourself or lose yourself." So where would we be without each other? As Karen Drucker says in her song, we are all angels who only have one wing because we need each other to fly. So let us love and empower each other. Now, FOOF is a strong, loving community, thanks to all the stone soldiers who do so much to keep this community alive and well. And it is this strength and love that we need to offer outside of our immediate community so that we may be a vital and important part in the transition from fear and disharmony to love and peace in our world. In fact, that is our purpose. That's why we came here. So I'd like for us now to go into meditation for just a few moments. So if you would prepare for meditation, get comfortable wherever you are, and bring your attention to this moment. So breathe freely and deeply, filling your lungs and your tummy and your heart with the in-breath and emptying them fully with the out-breath. Let's do that for a couple of times. So let's do that just one more time before returning to your normal breathing. And let's close our eyes. Allow and feel your body to relax from head to toe. And feel the peace of this moment. This is the moment of life. It is the moment of choice. It is the moment of creation for each one of us. In this living moment, as you breathe freely and easily, clear your mind. Do this by focusing on your breath. And now ask yourself this question. What is my intention? Or what are my intentions for myself in this moment? May I be loved? May I be abundant? May I be at peace? May I feel safe? May I be free? May I be inspired and fulfilled? Whatever your intention is, or your intentions are, for yourself, I want you to now send those same intentions to your family members, to your friends, to your communities, social, religious, workplace, political, and others. Send these same intentions to strangers. Send them to all those on this planet, to all those who have left this planet, and to all those who are to come. The universe acknowledges your readiness for higher realities at the rate you bless others. Blessing others is blessing yourself. And it is aligning with the highest truth, that of the Creator of life. Let's go into the silence for a few moments. And I invite you to continue to send your intentions and blessings to yourself and out to others. We are one with all of life. So as you bring your attention back to your space in this moment, I invite you to send blessings every day to yourself and to all those that come before you, for they are you. There is a saying in the Ubuntu language in Africa that says, I am because you are. So I thank you very much for being here this morning. I really look forward to seeing you at happy hour this afternoon at 5. So blessings to all of you. I'm holding you in my heart, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.
First off, I want to thank two of you. I thought that song was absolutely special. Thank you, two of you. Your voice was healing to my soul. And Donna, your message is always a delight, and I look forward to seeing you at 5 o'clock on our Zoom call so we can really talk more about, what inspires you to bring such great messages to us. Thank you. It's good to have you part of our FOOF community. Our offertory concludes today for our January and February community partner of Saisla Outreach Services. For those of you who are new to town, maybe you don't know, their acronym is SOS, .. SOS has been around a long time, great organization, does wonderful things to those, or for those who are in need, whether it's vouchers for showers, whether it's help with utilities, whether it's clothing, shoes, whatever it might be. They are there to help. And your support, if you can't do it financially, at least keep them in your hearts and in your prayers to do the good work for this community. So yeah, this is for SOS as well as our own particular fellowship. You know, we still rely on the contributions of our friends and members far and near. So if you'd like to contribute to this particular fellowship and or SOS, send us a check. FOOF, P.O. Box 2502, Florence 97439, or click on the website and donate there. You can do it through PayPal and use your own credit card, and you can designate how much you would like to come to FOOF, how much to SOS, and I don't know, maybe how much to the building fund. So there's 3 ways to give, and we appreciate your consideration. So we offer the following as our prelude to this offertory. If you would repeat after me: divine love through me,
Divine love through me,
blesses and multiplies all that I am,
blesses and multiplies all that I am,
all that I give,
all that I give,
and all that I receive.
and all that I receive.
I am prosperous now.
I am prosperous now.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
I invite Raina to come on back up. We're going to extinguish our flame as you do the same with your candle at home. This reading is by Kevin Jago, titled Hope Continues. Thank you, Rima. When the candle dims, the wax almost spent, the light turns amber like a sunset. Still, it provides light. Still, it provides heat. Still, it can kindle new flame and pass its glow on to contribute to new illumination. When sunset turns to new days, when seasons transform all, when the candle dims, all is not lost. Hope continues, uncertain and true, like candlelight, ready to spark again. All is not lost. So closing words, Rev Donna asked that I share these closing words from Thich Nhat Hanh. The Sangha is a community where there should be harmony and peace and understanding. That is something created by our daily life together. If love is there in the community, if we've been nourished by the harmony in the community, then we will never move away from love. Thank you, Donna. Wonderful, wonderful closing words. We leave you now. Tuvi is going to lead us on our closing song, the peace song. I see somebody's coming in the back door here, or the front door. Come on in, we're going to sing the peace song. So, oh, they don't want to come in? Okay. Come forward if you will, and we will sing the peace song. I'll have Tuvi stand right over here. Join us at home. We love singing this song with you. And go ahead. Shout it out, sing it out, have a good time. Tuvi, whenever you're ready.